as the Goal Digger Girl, coming in live to talk to you about becoming a published author. If you're considering writing a book, how do you get it to be a bestseller? Do you even want to take the time to write a book? And if you do, what are the things to watch out for to make sure it's successful, right? I would have to say most people feel like they have a book in them, right? Have you ever heard that phrase before? I have a book in me. And whenever I talk to people and I hear their stories, I'm always just like, man, you need to write a book one day. So I think it's pretty common for people to want to write a book, but it's a whole another thing to think about writing that book, right? Most entrepreneurs are very squirrely. We get distracted. It's really hard to focus. And it's why we're so creative and we're multi-passionate and multifaceted, but it also can be very difficult for us to complete projects. You know what I'm saying? So let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. We're streaming on a lot of platforms right now. I'm in Austin, Texas, and I would love to know in the comments if you want to write a book. Like you're just like, yes, at some point I'm going to write a book. I don't know what it's going to be about. If you do know what it's going to be about, maybe you're really good at making baby food at home, or you want to share your story of trauma and how you overcame that trauma to inspire others. But let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if there is a book in you, if you do want to write a book, or you understand the benefits as an entrepreneur to be able to say, I'm a published author. That's definitely something that can be on the bucket list. It can be something that you write down on your vision board or put on your vision board. Back in 2010, I wrote down 10 things that I wanted to have, be, or do. We had just moved to Texas from Michigan, my husband and I. My mom just came to visit and we were laughing in the car. We're just reminiscing. And I said, Mom, do you remember when Scott and I moved to Texas? I said, we had $60 a week to live off of for groceries. We were just, two young, young people in love, and we're still madly in love. But we had no money. We moved from Michigan to Texas. And I look back at that time because I sat down and I really clearly said, whether or not I'm not seeing it right now, but this is what I'm calling into my life. This is what I want to have. This is what I want to be. And this is what I want to do. I wrote down 10 things I wanted to do, 10 things I wanted to have, and 10 things I wanted to be. Okay. I think my list was actually more than 10. One of the things I wrote down back in 2010, hey, Clint from LinkedIn, what's up? One of the things I wrote down back in 2010 was to become a published author. So when I wrote down B, I put become an author. And I have chills. I remember writing that down thinking, yeah, I don't even know what to write about. And who am I? I'm poor. I have no money, right? I was a functioning alcoholic at the time. A lot of you guys know my story. Like, who am I to want to write a book? Does anyone feel like that? And in 2010, I said, I'm going to write a book. And I published my first book on the Kindle in 2012. It got picked up by a publisher and got reproduced and re-released later on. And I have written 6 books since then. 3 of them have been #1 international bestsellers. And to think back, when I wrote that down, I didn't know what I would write about. I didn't think I was good enough to write a book. Who would want to read my book, right? And to be able to see what I've created. And this is why I'm so passionate about this. You guys, when I was a teenager, when I was 13 years old, my parents were already divorced and had been. My relationship with my father ended. I was 13 years old. We would go there on Sundays, and he didn't have his license. And he has since passed, and we've healed. I've gone to him spiritually, and we've healed. He's chosen to stay in my life as a guardian angel. So I have a good relationship with him now. But when I was 13 years old, you're at a very vulnerable place, right? Like you're starting to see your self-image, right? You're starting to notice things. And we would go to his house, and he didn't have his license, and we would just sit there all day. He would drink, and we would just be there. It was so boring. It was awful. And I remember saying to him, I'm not coming here anymore if this is what this is going to be. And he obviously had an addiction, and he couldn't break that addiction. So we severed our relationship at that. And at 13 years old, that's a very vulnerable time. And you know what I did to kind of heal myself and be able to cope with those big emotions? When I was 13 years old, I fell into books. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when all my friends were doing things, I didn't have a lot of good girlfriends yet. I was still trying to just navigate all of that. I would read books. I would go to the library. I would load up books. I was on the couch reading books. It saved my life. I'm so passionate about books. I also believe that books allow people to have access to things that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. So if you want to do coaching with us and come into our programs, It's almost minimum 5-figure investments to come into our coaching programs, right? Because we have some of the best coaching programs in the world, and we're really proud of that. Not everybody can afford to do coaching, right? Not everybody can afford to invest in it. I believe it's an investment, but they just can't. Like, some people just don't have access to be able to hire coaches and go to college. But a book, you can get a book for free. You can buy a book for $5 on Kindle, right? You can go to the library and get books. Books are a way for people to learn, to grow, to be inspired. Like, I am so passionate about books, if you can't tell. So if there's a book in you, okay, if there's a book in you, I want you to think about that person who you want to impact with your story. I want you to think about the struggles you've gone through. Like, for me, that one of the first books I wrote was The Fit Kim Lifestyle, because I had struggled with my weight for so long. And when I learned how to lose the weight and keep it off and just, pretty much eat healthy most of the time, but not stress out about calories and all of that, I wanted people to know you don't have to have an eating disorder to be the size you want to be. You don't need to be at the gym all the time. So I took my pain and what I had gone through to inspire others. It didn't have to be that way. Like, this is about changing lives. So if you haven't written that book yet, it could be because you haven't figured it out. There's no fire lit there. You don't want to, I want to write a book. Like, you're not going to write the book. Like, let's just be honest. You would have already written the book. Okay. Yeah. I'm obsessed with books as well. Stuff changed my life. I read at least one book a week. And the reason why I do that, and of course it's like Audible 1.7 speed. By the way, Brendon Burchard's newest book, I think it's his newest one. It's The 6 Paths to Growth or something like that. Oh my gosh, I'm like 25% through, and I just love Brendon. I've done coaching under him. You guys got to grab that book. Side note, I also love to read fiction. I do recommend fiction because those that are very, your brain won't turn off like mine. I actually found fiction to allow my brain to take a break and just enjoy a story. And that actually has helped me to be more creative. Okay. So if any of you are in a creative block, it could be because you're just constantly trying to learn, like you're always on. And you can experience mental fatigue. So reading books every week, listening to books on Audible, fiction, there's different things that you can do to continue to grow yourself. But let's talk about how you can change other people's lives. Okay. So thank you for letting me be vulnerable and share my why, because you're probably like, man, she's a little intense with all these books she's writing. Yeah. And this is why. John Maxwell, I had an opportunity to be an ambassador for a program he launched in 2019. And he wrote a book just for network marketers. He broke his contract with his publisher because he said, I want this book to only be accessible through other network marketers. So I was one of the leaders chosen to be a part of this book collaboration. I got to co-teach a course with him. I got to meet him. And when I was listening to him talk, he said he wrote a book every year. This guy, I mean, at the time he was mid-70s, so he's probably late 70s. And I was watching him and I thought, man, I took a picture at Barnes and Noble and it's just John. There's a whole shelf, just John Maxwell. And I was like, imagine the legacy. Imagine all of these books he's written. They're going to be around forever. It got long when he has passed. Like, that to me, just, man, that fired me up. So I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be like John Maxwell in my own way, obviously. And I'm going to write a book a year. So we've done that every single year and we're going to continue to do it. We have an opportunity for you to be a part of that as well, which is really cool. Yes, love John Maxwell. Okay, so let's talk about this. First off, why write a book? Okay, the first one, share your story. There's got to be some fire behind it. Now, you could even do like one of the books. What I want to do at some point is write a children's story. I really want to help young girls through stories to be able to start to get the programming at an early age that they are worthy, they are good. Like, just start programming children through an early age, right? Well, that's a way for me to share my stories. The fact that I didn't grow up with that. You see the connection there. So you have to have a way to share your story. Okay. The other thing why you want to write a book is exposure. Books give you huge exposure. What I mean by that is when you can get your book out there, when you can do promotions around it, campaigns, marketing, you can be brought onto podcast interviews to promote your book. People will interview you. You can go live promoting your book. And it also is a way for you to really get out there through other people's channels, or if you collaborate on a book, that's going to 10x your exposure because you're actually going to be in front of other people's audiences. Does that make sense? So a book is helpful for your current audience because they go, wow, like you're increasing your value to them, right? But your current audience is already your current audience, right? And you can continue to expand that. Obviously, we teach that in our programs. But what's really powerful is if you can get exposure through others. So if you could do a book collaboration, or maybe somebody else has a book and you guys can promote each other's books, you could be featured in like a recommended reading list. Like there's all kinds of things you can do for exposure. Okay. So books can give you a lot of exposure. It gives you something tangible to promote. So if you are doing podcast pitching or you want to be in a summit, you can have your book, right? That you can say, I've written a book. I'd love to talk about that. Or I'd love to gift your audience a copy of the book. Okay. The final reason why you want to write a book, and I definitely recommend that everybody thinks about this. I know a lot of you that follow us, you want to work on your personal brand and you want to attract higher quality people to work with. So for the month of May, we're doing Slayer online sales for May in all of our programs. We have a membership club. We'll be going live today at 1:00 Central and Scale on Social. That's our monthly membership club. Connect with our team if you want to know more about that. We have Six Figure Breakthrough Business Academy, Ignited Life Coaching, and Accelerator. Those are our 12-month group coaching programs. In all of our programs, we're focusing on sales this month, okay? Hint, hint, all of our trainings get you to have sales, but like clearly spelling it out, we're focusing on sales. Well, we asked in every program, what do you want to know about sales? And an underlying theme was, I want to know how to attract my ideal avatar to me. So put me in the comments if you can relate to that. Like you're like, I'm talking to people, I'm getting leads, but I'm not talking to the right people. Like I feel like something's missing. There's a disconnect there. So if you feel like you're not talking to your ideal avatar, or you want to work with somebody who is at a, maybe you're ready to raise your prices, or you just want to attract rock stars into your network marketing company, that's going to actually come from you. So how that's going to come from you is your personal brand, how you're showing up. And a big part of that is I want you to think about your bio. I want you to think about your Facebook cover. I want you to think about LinkedIn. When you can put you're a published author, there's clout to that. Okay. I mean, there's over 3 million podcasts because we're in the top 1% of all podcasts. So we know the statistics. I don't know how many authors there are in our space, but it's not that. It's so much easier to launch a podcast. Like, it's going to take some work to get your podcast really out there, but a book, if you can get a book completed, you're going to be standing out amongst your peers. Okay. And just like TV, admit it, if you see someone on TV, what do you think? You're like, oh, they must know what they're talking about, right? It's the same thing with being an author. When you write a book, people think, oh, she must know what she's doing. She must know what she's talking. Oh, wow. So what happens is instantly you're going to be catching the attention of the people that you want to work with, the people who go, oh, she's a boss. Like she's written a book. She's an author. Cool. Like I want to get to know her better. And so therefore you can attract the ideal avatar that you'd love to work with by being a published author. Isn't that really cool? So it's called engineering your celebrity. We want to really strategically think about how we are presenting ourselves on social media. And in Brennan's book, he said, I love this so much. I was like, somebody needs to coin this phrase. You guys, our students out there, one of you needs to grab this. But he said, you need to be the architect of your life. He said it in a different way, but he was talking about how habits actually create your life, which we all know. But he said, you got to strategically think about the life that you want to create and the habits you need to create that life. You're going to be the architect of your life. And I thought, how beautiful is that to think about us being architects of our life, that we can actually design our life on purpose. Did that not just like get you? That got me. By the way, look at my moon necklace. I'm so excited about this. I just got this in Wimberley, cutest little town. If you ever come out to Austin, Texas, we live out in Dripping Springs, but we went to Wimberley and I got this little fun. It's crystals and it's a moon. I mean, I don't even know. Okay. Don't know why I told you that. But anyways, so I want you to think about being the architect of your life. Okay. I want you to think about creating the life that you want, being intentional about the life that you want. So if it's not what you want right now, and you keep focusing on what you have right now, you're going to perpetuate that. Okay. This is what we teach in the Millionaire Mindset Experience. We get to create in our mind first what we want. We focus on that. We get energetically aligned with that. We get our feelings there, our vibration, and then we create that. Isn't that cool? So with being the architect with your life, I want you to think about part of that is your brand. Because if you're on social media, people are doing business with other people. It was funny. I was in the car with Addison in the back seat because my mom was visiting. So I was sitting with the girls in the back of Scott's truck. And Addison's so cute. They have like entrepreneur day at school, which I think is so cool. And she made stress balls and she's got like this whole thing. And she goes, Mom, how do you make money? And I said, oh, you sell things. And she's like, I know, but like, how do you get the money? I said, who buys things? And she's like, people. I'm like, that's it. That's how you make money. People buy what you have and you get the money. And she was like, oh. And I was like, that's so crazy. It's such a basic concept, but we forget that, don't we? We forget that people is where we're making our sales, right? So on social media, your brand is everything because people are buying from you. There are lots of people who sell what you have. Okay, some of you've really niched down, but there's still other people who do what you do. So why you? It's because of you. There's something about you. So engineering your celebrity is where you're being the architect. You're designing your brand. And if you've watched our brand and our evolution, if you look at the graphics, you look at what I'm wearing, you look at the photo shoots, you look at the verbiage, the words that I'm using, as I've grown and as I've evolved, because I quantum leap. That means I go fast. I mean, I have like 3 coaches right now, you guys. Like, I'm like, okay, let's unpack that. How can I 10x there? Like, I am all in because I know if I grow myself, I'm going to be able to help you guys, right? And so you can see that with our social media presence and our branding, and you could do the same thing with your brand. So if your brand isn't where you want it to be and you're not attracting the right people, let's start strategically engineering your celebrity so you can be the architect of your life and your business, okay? I don't know. If that doesn't fire you up, you better rewatch this. Okay, so here's some pitfalls. Here's some of the things to watch out for if you're going to go after writing a book, okay? First one is the overwhelming scope of the project. This is the hardest part of it, is like, you want me to do what, right? So I got to give a shout out to Lachelle Weemy. She is one of our accelerator students. I've had the honor of personally coaching her and working with her and getting to know her. And this woman, she is so after God's heart. She's just an incredible human, so smart, so talented. And she's chosen to walk away from a very successful career in anesthesia. I mean, she has taught like at university, like she's incredible. Walked away from it all because she feels God is calling her to work with women and to grow their businesses and get them just to show up fully. Like, it's beautiful. Launched her book yesterday and it did hit #1 international bestseller in one day, which is so awesome. And the reason why I wanted to give her a shout out is because in February, she said, Kimberly, I'm going to write a book. And she goes, let's tell me what to do. And I'm like, okay. So we spent her one-on-one coaching session. We mapped it out. She already knew what she wanted to do for the book, but she was like, just tell me like how to do it. Like, what does this look like? I'm like, okay, and she had a deadline. She has an in-person speaking event in May this month in LA. And she said, I want the book physically there. And I said, okay, well, let's launch it before that, give you some wiggle room. And we just talked it through. Get off the call with her. I kid you not. 11 days later, she's like, okay, the manuscript's done. Will you take a look? And I was like, wait, what? You wrote an entire book in 11 days? You guys, she has kids. She has a husband. She has all her other social media stuff. She has clients. She wrote the book in 11 days. That's commitment. That's dedication. That's focus, because she had the vision. She knew why she was writing it, who it was for, when it had to be done. She knocked it out. Okay. Now, she's also very disciplined and she's done a lot of work on herself, but she said God just flowed through her. And I believe that is possible when you really just surrender to this process to say, why are you writing this book? It's got to have heart. It's got to have soul. It's got to have meaning. Okay. So go get her book. Get out of God's way. And Steph put her name in the comments. So please go support her book. I do highly recommend that you get it and share it. You can get the Kindle version for free right now and unlimited downloads. I mean, y'all go check it out. It's an incredible book. Okay. So pitfalls is overwhelming. Let me know if any of these resonate with you. Overwhelming scope of project. Okay. Where you're just like, I don't even know where to start. Like, do I just write chapter 1? Do I open it up and just start writing? You can do that, but I don't recommend that, because if you don't have it all mapped out, then it can be a bit like you just feel like you're writing and there's no end in sight. So I do recommend coming up with like an overall structure. So how I write my books, and we do have a book writing workshop you guys can grab. We can get you that after the replay or something. We'll give it to you guys later. But we have a book writing workshop you can do. I think it's like $100, and I do screen share and I walk you through the whole thing. So I'll show you how to write your outline, your chapters, how to structure it, and then I'll show you how to actually write the book. But that I have done that every single time. Okay. I'll say, what's the book about? I'll brain dump topic ideas. I'll sort them into organized chapters, get it all written out. Okay. Here's my outline. And then I do go chapter by chapter. Okay. All right, so that's the first pitfall. The second pitfall is lack of focus. WTF, what the focus? I mean, the struggle is real, is it not? And it's not just social media, it's the way our brains work. Those that are creative and you want to write a book, because that's creative. You might not be creative in the artistic way, but creative with writing, that's creation. You're creating something out of nothing. That's creating. Our brains, for those of us that want to do a book, the creative process is beautiful and amazing and necessary, and it also puts us up against our own creative brain that won't turn off, and there's a million things going on. Okay, so lack of focus, this can be difficult. This is what's tricky about writing a book, is there's no real deadlines. You know what I mean? There's nobody that's like knocking on your office door, which I have done that before. I had a publisher reach out another time, and I wrote a book with their guidance on it was every 2 weeks a chapter was due. Or no, 2 chapters were due. I don't even know. It was stressful. But there's nobody at your door knocking saying this chapter's due. The book's due at this time, right? So what happens? You start writing it and then you get busy. You're like, oh, one day I'll write a book. Okay. So lack of focus. Another pitfall is being disorganized. This is another kind of struggle that entrepreneurs are up against, is that we tend to be disorganized because we, again, have so many balls flying, so many plates spinning. We're just like, I can't, right? We feel overwhelmed and then we just don't do it. So being disorganized is a tricky thing, because you really have to be super organized when it comes to writing a book, or you'll just spin your wheels and feel like you're not getting anywhere. And there's this moment, I've run a couple of marathons. It's like that. If any of you've done anything long distance, there's this moment in it where you are like, I can't do this. Like, there's no way I'm not going to be able to finish this. And you just want to quit. Like, it's like that fight or flight, glass ceiling. Same thing as marathon. When you're running a marathon, they call it hitting the wall. You literally are like, I can't go anymore. Like, I'm done. And you mentally have to overcome that. It's the same thing with writing a book. So being disorganized is really setting you up for failure. Okay. No launch plan. Oh my word. I can't even tell you how many times, and this is why I'm so grateful Lachelle said, hey, like, let's map out the plan. She was on it. She had a whole plan, and that's why it was so successful. And it's an amazing book. But no launch plan. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people who said, oh yeah, I wrote a book, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, tell me how it went. Like, they just written the book, they just launched it. And they're like, oh no, I just published it. It's on Amazon now. I'm like, oh, but like, did you like launch the book? And they're like, well, no, what do you mean? And I'm like, like, launch the book, like, get it out there, let everybody know, make it a thing, launch. It's like, launch the book, right? And they're like, no, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Like, they did the book, which is so awesome. But what's the point of having the book if you don't get it out there? Right. And then it's just kind of, we need to make sure that we have a whole thing for launching it. Okay. So you guys know that's our sweet spot here at Goal Diggers, launching. We know how to launch things. The other thing, and this is the biggest mistake I've seen, is that there's inadequate marketing behind it. So it falls flat. And this is a big letdown. So if you write the book, you guys, you've got to make sure that you have a plan, you have a launch plan, and you have marketing behind it. Okay. So you have a whole plan. Maybe you're cross promoting the email list. Maybe you're doing, some kind of incentive if people grab the book and put it in their stories, like going live. Like, what are the different things you're going to do for the launch plan? You can also, we've done this before, where we'll send out like either just the book or like a little box for influencers, asking them to promote it. But if you have an inadequate marketing plan, it's going to fall flat. You will be completely disappointed, because in our minds, you kind of just build it up. And then if it just falls flat, like, the wind's let out of your sails, and you feel like you messed up. You didn't mess up. You didn't fail, but having an inadequate marketing plan will fall flat. So let's not do that. Let's make the most of it. Let's make sure that it doesn't have to be an international bestseller. Like I said, 3 of our books have been, 3 haven't, and those other 3 are great books. It's just based on what category you're in. Like, we released a book that was in the money category. Do you know there's like Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki? You know what I mean? Like, it depends on which category you're in, which niche you're in, the timing, like, there's all these elements to it. But in order to have it to be a successful launch, at the end of the day, you want to get it out there to as many people as possible. You want people to know about it. You want to make some noise. You want to say, I made this and I'm proud of this, and I think this can really help people. And that's what we're talking about with that successful launch, and potentially can become a #1 bestseller. Okay. So let me share with you how you can become a published author. We're really excited to collaborate with you guys in this way because when you know how, well, I don't know if you hear God, but God talks to me. So God said, I was thinking about the book that we're going to do because we release a book every year. So I was already starting to think, I usually do this around the holidays. I'll start thinking about what I want to do for the next book. And I was like, okay, what do I want to write about? And God said, oh, you should do a collaboration. You know, you have so many amazing women in your audience, and this could be a great outlet for them. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of work. Like, what? You want me to do what? And as always, I was like, okay, I submit, I surrender, let's do it. So I presented it to our team Gold Digger. They love the idea. They were like, yes, we love the idea of lifting up our community, supporting them, featuring them, letting them have the opportunity, excuse me, to become a published author. So I'm really excited to share this opportunity with you because you guys now have the opportunity to become published authors, which is really cool. So this is what we're offering for you guys. Steph is going to drop the application link inside of the comments. If you already applied for this, you saw us release this earlier. And if you're on Instagram, I'm just showing a landing page. This link is in our bio on Instagram. You can DM our team, send us a DM and just say, hey, I applied for the book. I wanted to see what my status was because we did email out everybody who is approved. But I know some people's emails went into spam, and it was a bit ago. It was like a couple weeks ago. Okay, so DM us. Don't be like, oh no, I didn't get approved. You probably did. You just don't know it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to collaborate on a book together. I think the title is going to be CEO. It's basically a play on CEO. CEO, and then I think it's Unleashed. I think it says it's on my wall. We'll give it to you guys. But basically, we're going to do like a playbook of the most successful female entrepreneurs on social media. And what I mean by this with the word success, it does not mean that you're a six-figure earner, a seven-figure earner. Success comes in many ways. I love talking about money because I feel like we were raised not to talk about money. And I believe that being wealthy is a birthright and it's such a mindset thing to get there. And I'm going to keep talking about money. And that is not the only thing that is successful. How many people do you know, or how many, you guys all know somebody who is quote unquote successful, but they don't have any money, right? Like they don't have a lot of money. They're just happy with their lives. They're very grateful. They're humble. They don't need a lot. That's success, okay? Success can be your organization skills. It can be your time management skills. It can be your ability to balance all the things. It can be you really know how to create engagement. You're a great leader. It can be that you are just really good at finances and budgeting. I mean, there's so many different ways to be successful. You need to stop telling yourself that success fits in a box because it doesn't, okay? And we're giving you the opportunity to own the fact that you're awesome and say, I am awesome and I have had success. Okay. So this is the application is what's included with writing the book. So this is perfect for those that want to become published, but you don't have time to write a whole book. You have no idea where to get started or getting it published, because getting it published, we didn't even talk about that. That's a whole nother thing. You need help, right? You need help promoting it. You don't know what to write about, or you do know what to write about, but you're not sure how to make it like a whole book out of it, right? So if you answered yes to that, we have an opportunity for you. We've published a book every year. We're crushing it. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so here is what you're going to get. You're going to get digital bragging rights. So you're going to have a beautiful badge created by our team to display on your website that you're a published author. You can put in your email signature. You can put it on LinkedIn. And of course, in your own bio cover, you can say you're a published author. You're going to be featured, and we'll have to update this. Our email list, we have almost 80,000 on our email list. Can you imagine being featured in front of 80,000 gold diggers? Like, what would that do to be able to get your name out there like that? I mean, I can't think of better exposure for you. And obviously there's an investment if you get approved for it, but it's minimal compared to what else I've seen out there. You're going to get 10 copies for yourself just to use, but you will be able to also get additional copies. You can just purchase those. But most people, you're just going to drive them to the website and they can purchase. You're going to get featured author shout outs in our stories. So we're going to be featuring all of our contributing authors, which is so, so cool. You're going to get to work alongside an elite group of female entrepreneurs. Collaboration is the new competition. So we believe in collaborating. And it's important for you to expand your circle with rock star women that are all going in the same direction you're going in. So we're going to create an incredible community amongst these women. You're going to get a potential interview with Team Gold Digger. We'll share it out to our online community, hundreds of thousands of followers. And you have an opportunity to provide a freebie to our audience. So if you have something you want to promote, so it's just a really great way for you to build your own email list, because when you promote your freebie, people have to put their name and email in to get the freebie. So boom, you're going to be able to build your email list by being a part of our community. Okay. So there's a $50 non-refundable application fee. Once you're approved, we will let you know your chapter topic and you'll write your chapter. And then and it says Monday, May 8th, we're going to extend that because we're going to open this up for a few more writers. So we'll give you a little more time on that. If you are chosen, we will let you know you've been chosen. There's a $1,000 fee to be part of the book. We're going to be using those fees to promote the book. So we'll be doing advertising. We're going to be doing giveaways. We're going to be doing marketing. Obviously, we have to pay our team to well, me, but I'll compile everything, but we have to pay our team to produce the book, which means we need to edit the book. We need to have the book published. We need to do artwork for it. We need to do the distribution on it, writing the emails, all the stories, all the graphics, the landing pages, all of that. It's basically covering all of those fees. And usually when I've seen book promotions that you get to be a part of, I've not seen a fee that low. Okay. And you can decide what that looks like for you. Okay. So I do want to go through the FAQs really quick. And just put a book in the comments. Just write the word book in the comments. If you're like, I want to apply, I'm in, like, this feels good to me. I want to be a part of what you're doing, Kimberly. And hopefully it becomes something that we do more of, but I don't know if we will. We're going to see how we like this experience. So I can't say that there will be another opportunity, but if you feel in your heart right now, you're like, yes, this is it. I want to be a part of it. Just put book in the comments. Okay. And make sure you apply with the link that Steph dropped. So you need to apply by, all the applications must be received by Monday, May 8th. Okay, so you have to get this in now. Who should apply? Okay, so female entrepreneurs who have built a successful business on social and want to share their tips with the world. Again, successful means you are successful in something. Okay, you know what that is. You've got your sweet spot, right? I already shared a bunch of examples, but maybe you've worked on your mindset. Maybe you've overcome trauma and you've been able to use that trauma, you've healed from that trauma to do good in the world and inspire others. There's so many different ways to describe the word success, okay? So if you're accepted, we're going to need 3 pages. It's about 1,000 to 1,500 words. And we'll give you the topic. You get to choose 3 topics when you apply. So it's just going to be one of those 3 topics, okay? And we'll need, oh yeah, she did put the dates on here. We'll need all of that done by May 22nd. To write 3 pages, to give you an idea, because I've written a lot in my life, if you sat down and wrote the 3 pages, it will probably take you at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, to give you an idea of the time commitment on it. For some of you, it's just going to flow. I forgot who it was, but she goes, oh my gosh, I wrote, oh, it was Raynell. Raynell's like, I sat down, I wrote my pages and it just flowed right out of me. I was like, perfect. Okay. So that's the time commitment for you to get this done. And also I'd ask yourself, if you can't commit to 3 pages, committing to a whole book, like, this is a good test for you to see how those 3 pages felt being a part of this process. It's a good trial for you to see if you're ready for a whole book. Okay. And this book is going to be about success secrets, building on social media. Yeah, from topics ranging from leaving your 9 to 5. Maybe you tell your story of how you actually walked away from your 9 to 5, or how you're able to work your side hustle in around a corporate job, managing your household and the business, knowing when to pivot, mindset, branding, lead generation, sales, anything you can think of. Okay. The cost is $50 application fee. And if you're chosen, it'll be $1,000 participation fee. Okay. And that, my friends, is what we have for you for today. The book will be published this summer. Let me see if I can get you so we, of course, we hope that it goes on schedule as planned. I moved up the launch date last year. Like, it was scheduled for whatever, and I ended up moving it up. So we probably won't move it up. It's scheduled to go be released in July. Yeah. Oh, Steph, thank you. She's like, boop, boop, boop. I have everything at my fingertips. So yeah, it's going to be sometime in July. I'm gone almost this entire summer. Thank you, Steph. So that is the date where I'll be planted in Austin. And we're going to do a lot of collaboration with this leading up to it. So we'll be doing lives. We'll have a bunch of us on. You guys can go live with each other to promote the book. We'll do a lot of promotion around it. And it's going to be really great. And then what we'll be able to do is we'll have we always do this. This is really cool, you guys. We always do a book resources page for all of our books. So when something's mentioned in the book, we tell people go to this, URL to get the resources, and you guys will be able to contribute to that. So it's a really great way to get your name out there. People will be able to click through, find you on social. Like I said, if you have freebies you want to contribute, it's going to be a really good method and format for you to get exposure in front of people you never would have gotten in front of otherwise. And our open rate on this email list, like I said, it's almost at 80,000. Our open rate is almost 30%. Do the math on that. Okay. It's a very warm, active email list we've built over the years, and they're all female entrepreneurs. Okay. So if that's your avatar, you're like, yes, I want to get in front of female entrepreneurs, then it's a no-brainer for you. Okay. It's also a tax write-off for you to be able to be a part of the book if you didn't know that. So that's kind of cool as well. And yeah, you'll be able to say you're a published author. And our goal is to obviously make it a #1 international bestseller. We will roll the dice and see what happens. But either way, you're going to be able to be a part of an incredible book where we're going to be able to share our stories. We're going to be able to co-create together to make a beautiful book, something that you can hold in your hand and be really proud to be a part of. And you'll be able to have that book, you'll be able to take a selfie and say, I am a published author. So if you, just like me back in 2010, if you've had that dream to say, I'm a published author, like I am in a book, I'm a part of this, like getting my message out there and getting the word out. If that's something you really want, this is a great, just easy way for you to be a part of it and get your feet wet when it comes to writing. And my goal is that it does give you like a little taste of what it's like, and that you go off to write your own book as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm really excited as well. Our team is so excited. It's a lot of coordination. I will say that. So I just want to give a shout out to Steph and Liv and Allison, all the ladies behind the scene. Crystal, she doesn't know it yet, but she'll be editing the book. So our team is just, Abby, they're just so incredible. I mean, I get to come here and go live, and yes, I get to create the vision for it. But when it comes down to it, the only way something of this scope is created is with a powerful team behind you. And you guys are going to get to work with Team Gold Digger. I mean, that's pretty freaking cool. Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. So excited. I also want to share with you guys, we haven't really promoted this too much, so I'll let you guys save the date for this now. But we are doing a 2-hour vision board workshop next week. It looks like we're doing it on Zoom. Does that sound right? Or should we stream it into Gold Digging Boss Babes? Steph, will you let me know in the comments what to tell people? So I kind of like the idea of being able to do that, to have it in the Facebook group, but if it's supposed to be on Zoom, let me know. So we have Debbie coming. What she does is she has a professional company that does vision boards in person. She has like a brick and mortar where you come in, you create your vision board in a space. How cool is that, right? But she's created a virtual experience, and we're actually going to be focusing on your word to start with. And what I mean by that is, how many of you feel like you don't have clarity? You just know, you're like, I'm just not clear. Like, I know I want to grow my business and my life to be magical, but like I need clarity. So what this 2 hours is for is to figure out what that is to like really dig in and get clear on what you want for your life. Okay. I know it seems so like, yeah, that's easy. No, it's not, right? That's really what it comes down to when people are struggling. They're just not clear. And if you're not clear, how do you know what to do or what to work towards, right? So our very first collaboration with Debbie, she's a professional vision board workshop leader, and she's going to be co-hosting it with me. So we're going to spend 2 hours. I was like, 2 hours? She's like, I need 2 hours with them to like actually do this. I was like, okay. So of course, if you guys register, we'll record it. You'll get the replay. There's no fee for it. But it's going to be at 1:00 Central on May 10th. Yeah, we'll email out. So if you're working or you can't make it, but if you can make it live, do, because it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I'll watch it later, and we don't get to it. So if you can like really fully be immersed in it, I do recommend that. Okay. So we'll email out, make sure you guys are prepped for that. and let you know, okay, so it is over Zoom. So it's going to be on Zoom, and we'll give you the information for that Zoom when you register, and we'll be interactive. You'll be able to see me and Debbie. You can ask questions. It's going to be really cool. So we'll be co-creating together inside of that virtual workshop. That's going to be May 10th at 1:00 Central. And we just wanted to serve our community in a really powerful way. So we thought this would just be a really good time. It's almost mid-year, just to kind of recalibrate, refocus, make sure we're really clear, like I said, on what we want to create. Okay. So you guys, thank you for being on today. I so appreciate you. So excited about this collaboration. Like, I just know, like, I already know it. It's going to be unbelievable. I can feel it in my body. And I'm pumped to do this with you. So if there's part of you that's like, the question I always get is like, do you think I'm qualified? Yes, you are qualified. Ask yourself this: the future version of yourself who is successful, has the money, has the brand, what would she say if that question was asked? Are you successful? She'd say, heck yeah, I'm successful. I have something to say. And she would apply for the book. So come out of that, operate out of that future self, the law of assumption, go with that frame of mind and freaking apply for the book. Okay. Stop telling yourself you're not good enough. We're telling you you're good enough. So the only person who's against that is your internal mind that's not even like supporting you. Like, put that to the side. Tell yourself, no, I am good enough. I have value to offer and I'd like to be a part of it, and just apply. Okay. That's all I ask for you to do, is just tell yourself, I'm good enough. I'm worthy. I get to be a part of this. You get to be a part of this. What an opportunity, really. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for being on. I appreciate you. Until next time, get lit in your business and set yours